Well, hello. Now, if you're watching this video, then there is a chance that you are thinking about joining me on the Confident Trance Medium course. So, what's involved? I guess is the obvious question. Now, this course is not designed for beginners or relative novices. This course is designed to push you to achieve more with your trance mediumship. So we have to be mindful of where our learning and development of trance mediumship is. If you would describe yourself as a novice or a beginner, then the course starting on July the 9th would maybe be more suitable for you. Because I think while it's important to always move forward, we shouldn't try to bite off more than we can chew, because it can set us back, when we realize that maybe we're not as proficient as, we want to be. And it's important that we temper that enthusiasm with, an understanding of what's right for us at any one time. Okay, so it's not going to be for beginners. Who is it going to be for? Well, let me tell you the dates first, while I have that in my mind. So there are 6 classes. Each class is 3 hours long. Now, the course starts on Sunday, July the 2nd. It starts at 5 p.m. UK time until 8 p.m. So for those in the East Coast or on the East Coast of America, that would be 12 p.m. till 3 p.m. your time. For those of you on the West Coast, that would be 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. 12 midday. Yeah, and obviously it's open to anyone. That's just to give you an idea of the timings if you were in the States. Now, let's speak about what the course will entail. Now, it's going to be very much more, we will have a task that we will be aiming, or tasks that we will be aiming to achieve on any particular week that we meet. But there will not be lots of dialogue about this is how you do it and this is what trance is. So the hand holding that we would do in the novice beginner class, that doesn't happen. Okay, it'll be a case of this week we are doing, let's say, trance communication, where you are trancing the partner's loved one, and you will go into breakout rooms. You will work not just for a couple of minutes, it might be for a more prolonged period of time. You will swap over, we will do feedback, we will come back and discuss, and then we will do another task. So there will be something else to do. So the onus is very much on the mediums to prepare themselves. So is sitting in the power, being aware of your own energy and preparing yourself to be ready for when the course starts, ready for when each session starts. That will be paramount. Time will not be set aside for you to do that in the class. So this is about being prepared and being ready. Because if you're working with the client, they're not going to say, do you want half an hour to sit in the power or just to get yourself in the right mind space? You're just going to have to get on and do it, because that's kind of how it is. Now, let's talk about the sort of things we'll be doing. Trance obviously primarily is focused in some ways on the philosophical side. So if you're into things like Silver Birch and the work that was done with Maurice Barbanel, then obviously you'd very much understand, the slant that I'm coming from. So like week 1, for example, we have trance philosophy, but not just having a guide or an inspirer sharing philosophy. We will then also invite them to take questions from your audience or from the partner that you're working with, if we're working in twos. And the questions are going to be unknown, so that we need to have developed a strong connection with the spirit world to have that trust and that understanding that when the question comes, it's not just coming from your mind, the answer, that the answer is heavily influenced by the thoughts, the perspective of the spirit communicator. Now, we do understand that you will be part of that process. That is how trance works. It's not about you being removed from the experience. It is about you blending sufficiently so that there is a greater influence from the spirit world than there is from your own mind. Okay. So we will be talking about trance and the creative influences. So when we say creative, we may mean like spirit writing. So you're entering into that trance state and you're asking spirit not to do automatic writing. That's like physical phenomenon. This is like inspired writing. So maybe the person opposite you gives you a subject. Maybe I give you a subject. Maybe you just ask spirit to share words that need to be heard on a group level or an individual level. And it's working without the pressure of speaking. Okay, so that's an interesting one. We do have some great results with that. We're talking about things like maybe spirit portraits. So you may be an artistic person that is looking to unify the connection of your creativity with the connection with the spirit world and maybe draw, for example, a guide or maybe an aurograph. So it works with the premise that you're going to kind of look into the possibilities like an assessment of the person you're working with. So that's really interesting when they work that way. Or you may be drawing a loved one, okay? So there's lots of sort of things that we can do there. It may be things like poetry, so it may be that you feel inspired to work, with prose and with the poetry side of things and allow spirit to express themselves. Because let's face it, if you are a poetic person, if you appreciate poetry and the way that words are used to uplift and to work with people, there will be spirit people that are like that, like attracts like. And so that is a lovely way of working. It's really interesting to see the results when we've done this before. We will be working to trance loved ones. Okay, so that would be termed as trance communication, so that the communicator is not a guide, it is a loved one. And rather than you say, oh, I have your father here and he says that he was a mechanic, it would be that you would enter that altered state and the gentleman would say, hello, for example, it's Dad. I enjoyed my 60 years as a mechanic. It brought me great happiness, etc., etc. So that we're working very much away from the clairvoyance, where you're sharing information via someone else. You're allowing them to speak directly. So it's an interesting one to watch. Other aspects we're going to be working with is trance healing. So, of course, some of you do not want to philosophize or to allow loved ones to work, speak through you, but you may wish to allow the healing power of the spirit world and your ability to allow the spirit world to manifest healing through being entranced. So obviously there's wonderful opportunities and wonderful stories from the past of work that's done from the spirit world's perspective with their medium. So it's a beautiful way of working. Then we come back to the philosophical side in the 5th week, whereby we're allowing guides to speak, to inspire the mediums, or to maybe take a subject matter and work in that way. Because in the last week, week number 6, it's going to be a trance demonstration, 3 hours with however many students we have, and we will divide the time up equally. And the idea will be that you will each have an opportunity to be the medium, the trance medium, to take questions from the whole group and to maybe philosophize to the group and demonstrate what you've learned over the course of the 6 sessions. Now, there is not going to be one of those occasions whereby I just leave you to get on with it. There are some occasions where you have questions still, that you want to know the answer to something. I'm always available. I will be there. You will not be abandoned. And so that we'll have that opportunity to still work as a group and discuss how we feel about things, what we learned, what we found difficult, and we will kind of give pointers about how we think that can be overcome. And then at the end of the course, you will receive feedback. Now, it will be in a Zoom session separate to the actual course itself, where I will give you feedback and explain, the wishes of yourself, and the spirit world's perspective, and kind of what I would say to you regarding your development moving forward. So that's a brief-ish outline of what you can expect. So if you feel that it may be for you, or if you want to discuss it further, you can contact me via my website, andrewcodling.com, or you can find me on Facebook, which is probably where you will see this, and send me a message and I will be glad to discuss it. So hopefully I will see you sometime soon. Well, I'll tell you when it is. It's July the 2nd. Now, let me just reiterate those dates. Now, by the way, the course is £199 for the whole course. If you book it on or before June the 18th, so that's this coming Sunday, it's now Wednesday, you get 10% discount. So if you want to get that discount, book it soon. If you don't, it'll just be 10% extra. Okay, so those dates, times, let me get them for you again. 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. UK time, Sunday, July the 2nd, Sunday, July the 16th, Sunday, July the 30th, Sunday, August the 13th, and Sunday, August the 27th, and the final one is Sunday, September the 10th. I hope it's been of some help to you. It maybe answers those questions that you're thinking about, and maybe I'll see you sometime soon. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon. Bye now.